lot of people in Louisiana ask if they need flood insurance. The reality is if you live in Louisiana, you probably need flood insurance. Even if you don't live in a flood zone, it still makes sense to have flood insurance, and I'll explain that for you too. The first thing you need to know is regardless of where you live, you are at a risk for flooding. If we take the 2016 Baton Rouge flooding, for example, a lot of people that lost their homes and their contents didn't think they lived in a flood zone. And the reality is they didn't live in a flood zone. But anyone that's in Louisiana can tell it's raining more and more here, and we're having more and more drainage problems. Look at New Orleans just this year. In 2019 alone, New Orleans had multiple days where businesses had to shut down because it rained too hard. So what is flood? Flood is anytime water comes up from the ground as a result of rain or any other event and comes into your property. The important part is flood damage is not covered by your standard homeowner's insurance policy. Most people think it is, and then they find out later that they didn't have flood coverage. Flood coverage, flood insurance, is written under a separate policy, and it's usually guaranteed by the federal government. It's called the National Flood Insurance Program. If you don't have separate flood insurance, then you are uncovered in the very likely event over the next few years that you suffer from flood damage. When floods come in, it's very important to make sure that you have all your policy information. What's going to happen is you're going to make your claim, and they're going to send out an adjuster to figure out how much damage was done. You're also going to be limited in what you can recover. For instance, you likely will only be able to recover $250,000 for your house and $100,000 for your contents. If you have a more expensive house or a more expensive business, or you have more expensive items, you need to consider going onto the private market and purchasing private flood insurance. If you don't have flood insurance and water comes up into your property as a result of a rain event, more likely than not, your homeowner's insurance company will deny your claim, and it is more likely than not that no one will be able to do anything about it. If your agent has lied to you about whether you needed flood insurance, that may be something else that you can recover from. But if you don't have flood insurance and you suffer a flood loss, it's going to be very difficult to repair your home and move back into it. If you experience a flood loss, it's important to make your flood claim as quickly as possible because there will be a lot of other people in line with you. It's also important to document your claim as thoroughly as possible. The National Flood Insurance Program does not necessarily send out the most qualified adjusters. They send out as many people as they can, as fast as they can. Also, there's no bad faith for National Flood Insurance Program loss. That means that the insurance companies can behave however they want without having to worry about much. As a result, you need someone that's experienced in making flood insurance claims and has a working relationship with the attorneys that handle the flood insurance claims for the insurance companies.